Call the regular meeting for the Milliken Board of Trustees for February 11th, 2026 to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Town Clerk, will you please call roll?
Trustee Nix.
Here.
Trustee Orcutt.
Here.
Trustee Roseberry.
Here.
Trustee Wakeman.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dean.
Here.
Mayor Austin.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Do we have any changes or adjustments to the agenda? Hearing none, I'll take a motion.
I move to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
Town Clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Orcutt.
Yes.
Trustee Roseberry.
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman.
Yes.
Trustee Nix.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dean.
Yes.
Mayor Austin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Do we have any citizens' comments tonight that wants to address the board? Okay, we'll start with comments and move on to, does anybody have any changes to the meeting minutes for January 28th, 2026? Hearing none, I'll take a motion.
Move to approve the minutes from January 28th, 2026.
Second. Town Clerk, call for a vote.
Trustee Roseberry.
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman.
Yes.
Trustee Nix.
Yes.
Trustee Orcutt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dean.
Yes.
Mayor Austin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next up is the Town Administrator's Report. Administrator Powell.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Trustees. So staff this week met with Connecting Point on Tuesday to discuss this company taking on more duties when Rick retires. So we're looking at options that way. We'll probably still need to have somebody not as technical as Rick is, be able to handle some of the other items that Connecting Point couldn't do or can't do. So we'll keep you apprised on that. Teresa Ablow, the town's municipal judge, sent an email in January explaining that she is not going to seek reappointment when her term ends, which is this year. So staff is working on a request for qualifications that will hopefully go out in the next week or two. And we'll keep you apprised of that as well. The survey on North Cora and North Buell Avenue is complete. Tate, the town's engineering firm, will start working on the storm water design for that area. GLH, the town's contracted company, is hoping to start the Inez and Irene stormwater improvements on February 16th. So it'd be nice to get those going and done before the spring rain. The streets department cleaned out the Sunfield drainage ditch down to the flow line, so that'll help with drainage in that area. Parks department is taking advantage of the nice weather. Keith and his crew have been installing mulch in areas around town, and they've also been adding crusher fines to the town's trails. It's looking really nice. Town staff and the town attorney have been refining the RFP for the Meadow Farms improvements. And this RFP should be going out within the next week or two, hopefully within the next week. Staff was informed on Monday that former town trustee and mayor Janie Blickfuss passed away on January 30th. Her services will be held at Zion Lutheran Church in Loveland, February 19th, with the service starting at 10 a.m. I don't know if you're wrong.
No.
Okay, when you go out for the RFP for the judge, that's about 30 days. So are we looking at April for interviewing the judge?
So with the current contract we have with Judge Ablow, I think ends May 27th, if I'm remembering off the top of my head. So hoping that, we'll have some candidates to interview prior to that. It's a board appointment. And then we can, whenever you choose one, then you can confirm a start date for that.
I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to balance that with other interviews and such, but, it works. Okay, we're good.
Keep you busy this year.
Yeah. Other questions from the board? All right. There are none. We'll move on. There's nothing on the consent agenda, so we'll take the first action item, which is a public hearing to consider ordinance number 2025?
6. Oh,
It's 2025.
An ordinance approving the Weems Enterprises zoning map attachment. Since this is a public hearing, time is 6:35. Opening the public hearing and presenting is Kevin Colville from our Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mayor, Trustees. It is ordinance 2025 because this item actually did come before you all in December of last year, but we had to table the item to a future date. So that's why it does seem a little bit odd that it is a 2025 ordinance. So since we had kind of everything teed up that way, that's the reason for it. So this is, as you mentioned, this is a zoning map amendment for roughly 618 acres of property at the southeast corner of County Road 42 and County Road 19. Currently, the property is zoned PUD, planned unit development, and this property was annexed and zoned back in 2000-2001 timeframe, and historically it's been used for agricultural purposes. Nothing has actually ever come to fruition on that property. The property owner applicant is requesting to rezone the property from that PUD designation to agriculture. With that, the existing framework and associated PUD documents that were done for this property would then basically be null and void, and it would just return back to a base zoning of agricultural. Our comprehensive plan, the future land use map for this property does designate this property as ag. So this does align with that future land use map of the comprehensive plan, furthering those goals. This item has gone through a review process, and particularly section 16.230 and 16.6.300 of the code of review criteria. The one that does apply to this request is rezoning an area or extend the boundary of an existing district because of changing conditions in a particular area of town. Since this area has not developed over the last 25 years and stayed particularly agricultural during that time, this does kind of fall under that category that it's been a changing condition that, there hasn't been the intent of development in this area for that need for the PUD designation to occur. So with that, staff has reviewed, along with other criteria of the land use code. Planning Commission heard this item last week at their regularly scheduled hearing on the public hearing and recommended approval by unanimous vote. We don't have anyone here on the applicant's behalf, but if you do have any questions, be happy to answer them.
Okay. Questions from the board, starting with Trustee Orcutt.
no questions.
Trustee Nix. Trustee Roseberry.
No question.
Trustee Wakeman. No questions. Mayor Pro Tem Dean.
No questions.
I don't have any either. Any comments from the public? Okay, the time is 6:39, and I'm going to close the public hearing. And if there's no further comment, I'll take a motion on the matter.
I move to approve ordinance 2023, ordinance approving the Weems amendment.
I'll second.
Madam Clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Wakeman,
Yes.
Trustee Nix,
Yes.
Trustee Orcutt,
Yes,
Trustee Roseberry,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dean,
Yes.
Mayor Austin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next item is a public hearing to consider the Bernhardt Sand and Gravel Pit Site Plan. This also is a public hearing, so it is 6:39. I'm opening the hearing. Presenting is Kevin Colville, Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mayor, trustees. So as you mentioned, this is a site plan application for what's known as the Bernhardt Sand and Gravel Pit. Applicant is WW Clyde and Company. The property is 133 acres situated south of County Road 25 and 46. This property is currently zoned I-2 medium industrial, and the use of mineral extraction was actually approved on this property back in 2022. That conditional use approval was attached in your packet for reference on that. So that's what this use is going off of on this property, is that conditional use permit that was approved back at that time. This proposed project consists of a dry sand and gravel mining operation that will utilize portable processing equipment that will include crushers, wash plants, conveyors, stockpiles, scale house, all typical normal with a mining operation. The mining will occur entirely within an approved boundary with the DANR that will ultimately be reclaimed as a lined pond at the end of the mining process. Part of this, as part of this work, there will be improvements that will be done to County Road 46 and County Road 25. The improvements that will be done to both of these roads will be some improvements at the intersection of County Road 46 and 25 with some recycled asphalt. And then at the intersection of County Road 5 or County Road 25 and Highway 60, there will be some asphalt improvement along with turn lanes on Highway 60, and then some acceleration and deceleration lanes as well. So that intersection along with this project will be improved as they start their work. Staff has reviewed this application along with referral agencies, and I do want to make one note. There was a typo in the staff report. The review criteria is based off of section 16.6.370, not 16.3.370. But regardless of that, staff has reviewed this application in conformance with the review criteria of a site plan and do find it to be within compliance with the criteria set forth in the sections of the land use code. This item was also heard at the Planning Commission at their regularly scheduled meeting last week, and also recommended approval of this site plan by unanimous vote. The one condition that is being subject to this approval is getting applicable CDOT permits for the improvements and work on Highway 60. The applicant has been working with CDOT. They've been a referral agency through this process. They are getting close to the end of the final design for what needs to occur for that, but it's just a condition of approval that they get those in place before they go out and conduct all the work. So with that, we do have J.C. York here on behalf of the applicant who has a brief presentation for you.
Just use the arrows again. Thank you, Mayor and trustees. J.C. York with J&T Consulting, 305 Denver Avenue, Fort Lupton, Colorado, representing WW Clyde. Just wanted to provide some additional information for you guys just on the location of the site here. As Kevin said, we're south of County Road 46 and 25, and what we utilize is a road that's existing coming off of County Road 46, and I'll kind of scroll through some stuff here. Just a little more history on the project. The conditional use permit was approved in August of 2022, and then our DRMS permit with the state mining and reclamation and safety group was approved August 2024. The actual DRMS permit area is about 111 acres, so there's about 22 acres that will remain undisturbed on this property. And the mining will occur with excavators, loaders, haul trucks will load the raw material and then take it to the processing plant. But the first thing that we'll do, will be the traffic improvements prior to doing any construction on the site. And then we've also committed to doing another Raptor survey prior to any excavation occurring. And then the construction of a slurry wall around the excavated area will occur. And that'll be so that we can dewater once and then keep any groundwater from coming in as we're mining. And then the post-mining land use is a developed water resource, so it'll be a lined storage reservoir, and it's about 2,000 acre feet, thereabouts. On this map, it's a little hard to see, but there's a dashed line there, and that's the existing access road from County Road 46 going down to the site. We do have license agreements with Excel Public Service so that we can utilize their right-of-way because the road comes in and out of W.W. Clyde's property as well as onto Excel's power line and gas transmission line right-of-way there. This is the kind of the existing conditions, but with the different utilities that are on the site, there are some abandoned gas wells and that type of thing. The processing area is basically in the northwest corner, kind of up against the bluff, and then we utilize the processed stockpiles and some of the overburdened topsoil stockpiles to help reduce the noise and that type of thing as well. And then, as this takes a little bit for it to, the image to come through there, but this is the reclaimed reservoir. And then what you see kind of in the southwest corner is a riprap lined spillway, and that is there because back in 2013 when it flooded in this area, that's kind of where the water came through and some of the drainage there. So we've got that in there to protect the slurry wall and the reservoir as well from any future flooding that might occur there. As Kevin had described to you earlier, the improvements to Highway 60 and County Road 25, I'm just going to scroll through. This is a description of it, but these are kind of the maps showing the improvements. So this is on County Road 25 where the paving would come back about 100 feet plus or minus there where the turn lanes are. And then after that would be all recycled asphalt. We've talked with the county and discussed with them what they would require for improvements on that particular road. So it'd be mag chloride would be mixed in with that so that we can keep the dust down and no dust will be present there so we don't affect anything going on at the dog park there adjacent to it. Then this is Highway 60 here where you can see the designated left turn lane and then some striping improvements there. And we believe most of that can be accomplished with the existing roadway. There'll be a little bit of widening that has to occur at the intersection on 25. And then we're working through everything with CDOT to obtain our access permit. And we'll have to get that prior to doing any of the construction. They'll have to approve the access permit and the construction plans. And then we would start the construction prior to doing any operations in the mine. These are the improvements at County Road 46 and 25 at the intersection, and then also the intersection with the access that you see there to the south of County Road 46. And again, asphalt millings mixed with mag chloride and basically full depth kind of reclamation there to make sure that everything's structurally sound as far as the section, and then keeping the dust down with that. On the mining operations plan, the slurry wall construction will proceed after kind of grading and pad construction once the traffic improvements are done. Then phase one, which is just the mining of that cell, would start with extracting raw materials and then placing on conveyor to feed the processing plant, and then hauling construction aggregates, whether it be concrete, sand, rock, and road base, those types of products out. Dust control will include watering all the access roads and haul roads, and then potentially adding chemical stabilizer further south on the access road that goes to County Road 46. Weed control will be provided by mowing, disking, and spraying during the mining and reclamation of the property. And then reclamation will occur after mining progresses. We're basically mining the slope at a 2-to-1 and then placing overburden back on the slope at a 4-to-1 slope to reclaim the reservoir. And this map kind of shows the red line is the permit boundary for the DRMS. And then you see there's some topsoil stockpiles and overburden stockpiles in the northwest corner of the property. Clear water and process ponds next to the processing area. The slurry wall is the blue line. And then we've got an orange line, which is the perimeter groundwater drain. And I'll get into that in a few more slides here just to balance the groundwater from the mounding side to the shadow side with the slurry wall. This is the typical mining section here, the 2-to-1 mining section, and then a dewatering ditch. And the dewatering ditch will move down as we go down from the surface. And then the lined reservoir, which is about 89 acres of water surface area. And then the revegetated areas so that we basically kept a 400-foot corridor between the riverbank and the bank of the reservoir. So there's room there for wildlife to move around and keep getting through to the river. This is our reclaimed reservoir slope at a 4.5-to-1. The lighting plan, there's only going to be 2 lights on the site, one at the scale house access door, an 8-foot downcast light, and then one at the process control trailer, a 12-foot downcast light. Those are all going to be kind of in that northeast corner, so there won't be any light pollution that gets off the site. Talked about dust control previously, and again, mag chloride being used on the access road where they're more traveled, and then the water truck being used on the haul roads to keep the dust down as they're mining. As far as groundwater impacts, we've been monitoring wells out there. There's 4 of them around the perimeter of the site since 2023. And so we've got a good baseline for what the seasonal changes are in the groundwater. And then we did a groundwater model for the DRMS. And that is basically what happens when we put the slurry wall in. We have the blue contours of the mounding on the south and west side. And then on the north and east side are kind of the shadow. And so in order to mitigate that and keep the mounding from occurring only to about 1/2 foot near the slurry wall, and then a drop of about 1/2 foot on the north side, that's when we put the perimeter drain in, and it takes care of that for us, basically running from, and I'll get to another map here after this slide, but basically running from the west side down to the south side, and then back up the east side going to the north. When we did our studies for the project, we did a T&E study, threatened and endangered species, and wetland study. ERC did that for us and didn't identify any threatened or endangered species that were a problem with the project. There was a bald eagle nest that was in the area that blew down over the process of, I guess, a couple of years prior to permitting this, and we got confirmation from CPW that that was the case, and so no longer had to worry about the buffers from that location. And then we also committed to doing another raptor survey prior to the mobilization of earth-moving equipment into the area, just to make sure that nothing's moved back in or anything before we start that. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers did do a jurisdictional determination for some wetlands that were on the site, but they were on the exterior and they won't be disturbed during this project. We also did a cultural resources study, and then the Office of Archaeology and Historic Preservation also confirmed that the study findings where there was nothing in the areas where we're going to be doing any of the disturbance or the mining. Just wanted to get on a few points here as far as consistency with the comprehensive plan. So the proposed use for the site is a sand and gravel mine. We believe it does fit within the plan's identified economic development framework, as it'll bring more job opportunities and will create sales tax revenue for the town. It also identifies a future land use for the site as parks and open space, and the end use of a reclaimed water storage reservoir fits within that future land use, and does allow the possible inclusion of trails on the site along the river corridor if it ever becomes owned, by the town or another water user. Currently, it's privately owned by W.W. Clyde, and that's the plan going forward. But, they're open to talking to people about storage and that type of thing. And we've discussed that with the town previously as we were going through this process. And then the site being in the floodplain of the South Platte River and the end use of a reclaimed water storage, it's not going to cause an increase in flood flow levels. And we did obtain a floodplain use permit. And if anything, it'll aid in attenuating flood flows just to act as an off-channel detention area, because we won't be storing to the top. We'll be storing about 3 feet below at the maximum level in the reservoir. And with that, I'll entertain any questions or comments you may have.
Okay, questions from the board, starting with Trustee Wakeman.
You mentioned monitoring the wells. I think you said those on the property or those.
They're on the property.
I just saw some of the back about neighbors and their groundwater and whatnot. Obviously, there's monitoring what goes on there overall. Like,
Yeah.
And then you mentioned about using magnified on those. And things like that.
Yeah, that would be part of the road maintenance agreement with the county.
No questions.
Mayor Pro Tem Dean.
No questions.
My question is for, I think it would be John Rabus. Sorry to put you on the spot. Could you come up? As our streets and facilities director. Sorry. Do we have it in your budget at all that we could also purchase some recycled asphalt?
No,
Parking lot?
it's not in the budget.
It's not in your budget at all? Mr. Krochek? Are there any funds anywhere that we can, so that it's all done at once?
We can look into that and bring that back.
That would be very nice. I know water meters first. However, I see an opportunity to have that whole area taken care of. If we're going to do the road, we should do the dog time.
I don't think they're going to do all of it.
It's not the whole road. It's only 100 feet.
Yeah,
But the
they're
line
not doing the
comes down
entire
to
road.
here.
No.
No, it
It's
would be the
hardly.
entire County Road 25. The asphalt will come down about 100 feet, and then the rest would be recycled asphalt.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Have a little extra.
They're busy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
My name is Chris Adade. I'm an environmental engineer.
Stressful. Get your ass.
I have 2 dogs. I'm going to say,
Go rampant, yes.
I'm not convinced we need asphalt.
well,
Oh,
recycled. It's
I-
recycled ground up stuff.
I think the gravel is better percolation than water have.
Neither here nor there. And it's Keith's Dog Park. We should probably ask Keith. All right. Thank you. That's all the questions I have.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Are there any further questions from the board? Are there any citizens' comments? All right, the time is 6:59 and I'm closing. If there's no further discussion, I'll take a motion on the matter.
I move to recommend approval of the Barnhart gravel pit site plan subject to staff's recommended conditions.
Second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Nix.
Yes.
Trustee Orcutt.
Yes.
Trustee Roseberry.
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman. Mayor Pro Tem Dean.
Yes.
Mayor Austin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, we have one item on the discussion agenda, and that is the Front Range Fire and Rescue Impact Discussion. Presenting is
Matt.
Matthew Gould, Town Attorney.
Me?
I
Or
don't
is
know
it
who
Kevin?
is.
I think it's Kevin.
You or me, yeah.
We'll tag team.
Yeah.
I can certainly kick this off, and then I think Kevin will jump in. Several months ago, we came to the board to discuss some statutory changes related to impact fees that the town collects for the Front Range Fire and Rescue District. That kind of got put on the back burner just because there were other more urgent things. However, we learned recently, and Kevin can say when, that the district approved a change to their impact fee, and we didn't actually get the notice that the statutes require in advance of that. So staff's been discussing how to address this. Among staff, we have circulated a proposed new impact fee agreement, and that's also been sent to the attorney for the district. But there are, I think, some other issues that Kevin wanted to address tonight. So that tees it up for you.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know all, what was discussed at, the last time that Matt mentioned that this was kind of talked about with the statute, but the statute essentially says that as a fire district, they can impose their own impact fee, that we basically, in a sense, have no say in it. That they can impose it. They can still, send us, hey, here's what we're doing as the courtesy if we have any concerns or anything like that. That's the time period that Matt mentioned. We did not get, then we got notice in mid-November that they had changed their fees. It slipped past staff for that change of knowing we had a building permit get issued that was short on the impact fee, which kind of then brought this back to our attention. So the change in the impact fee is only about $28, give or take, depending on if it's the commercial, single-family residential, or, detached or attached. So it's a very, nominal change at that point. One of the things that we do right now is we actually do collect that fee on behalf of Front Range Fire, and then we essentially remit it to them. So when somebody's coming in for a building permit, they'll bring us a separate check for the Front Range Fire, and then they'll either stop by or we go mail it to them. Part of the change to this IGA is that they will then now be collecting that fee on their own. That's one of the things that the statute does say, is that basically they have, unless they do an IGA with a municipality, it's their requirement to collect this fee. Johnstown does that right now with Front Range Fire, that anytime a building permit comes in, that builder has to go and, pay that fee. So that's what we're going to move this towards, is basically not have that fee come to us anymore. They just have to go to Front Range Fire, then prove to us there's a form that Front Range Fire has that they'll give to us before we'll issue any certificate of occupancy on any building permit that does require that fee.
Right. One more comment is, as I understand it, under the new law, we can't collect the fee. The fee cannot be collected, let's put it that way, before a building permit is issued. And what we've done in the past is basically it was kind of simultaneous. So it's going to be a simpler, if not shorter, agreement. And like I say, we haven't heard from the attorney yet, but it will be simpler. It'll be limited to basically, they just let us know when it's been collected, and then and then we can issue the, no, I'm sorry, got that backwards. We issue the building permit,
Correct.
and then that starts a clock, that gives them the opportunity to collect the fee. When they report that they've collected it, that's the point at which we're then allowed, under the agreement, to issue a CO. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Questions from the board? Is session. Yeah. Makes sense. Any other board reports that we need to present tonight?
My favorite meeting. And I have nothing to report.
Yeah, exactly. All right, if there's no further business to come before the board, I'll take a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the meeting is over. Thank you very much.
Did you like the harmony in that one?